Sometimes the people who seem the hardest to love are the ones who need it the most. When a pair of spoiled millionaire twins made life miserable for everyone who tried to care for them, no one believed anyone could last more than a week in their house. But then came Maria, the quiet maid with a gentle smile, and she changed everything in ways no one could have imagined. This is a story about patience, pain, and the power of unexpected kindness. Hey everyone, welcome back to Whispers of Goodness, the place where true stories of kindness remind us that compassion can heal even the coldest hearts. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to share your thoughts. Every interaction helps us spread more goodness to the world. Now, let's begin today's story. The mansion on Willow Creek Drive was as grand as it was cold. Behind its tall gates and marble floors lived businessman Richard Hale, a widowed millionaire, and his 10-year-old twins, Ethan and Emily. They had everything money could buy, except warmth. Since their mother passed away 2 years earlier, the Hale household had turned into a battlefield of tantrums and tears. The twins had driven away 8 nannies in less than a year, each one leaving in tears or fear. One nanny said Ethan locked her out in the rain. Another claimed Emily shredded her clothes out of spite. They were wild, defiant, and cruel. Not because they were evil, but because they were hurting. But Richard didn't see that. He was too busy running his empire, too wrapped up in board meetings and business trips to notice the loneliness in his children's eyes. One Monday morning, a new housekeeper arrived. Her name was Maria Lopez, a woman in her early 40s, with tired eyes but a kind smile that made even strangers feel at ease. She was hired to clean, not to care for the kids. But fate had other plans. From the first day, the twins tested her. Ethan deliberately spilled juice on the carpet and smirked when she rushed to clean it. Emily tore up a pillow just to watch feathers fly through the hall. "Good luck," the butler whispered to Maria. "They've scared away everyone else." But Maria didn't flinch. She just smiled gently and said, "Kids act out for a reason." For a few days, she stayed quiet, doing her chores, humming softly, and greeting the twins kindly every morning. They ignored her. Sometimes they mocked her accent or made fun of her old shoes. Still, she never raised her voice. Then, one rainy afternoon, something shifted. Maria was cleaning the library when she heard muffled sobs. She followed the sound to find Emily curled up under a desk, clutching a framed photo of her late mother. "Go away," Emily snapped when Maria approached. But Maria didn't leave. She simply sat down on the floor a few feet away and began humming softly, the same lullaby she used to sing to her own daughter back in Mexico. After a while, Emily whispered, "My mom used to sing that too." Maria looked at her gently. "She must have loved you very much." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "Then why did she have to go?" Maria's heart ached. Sometimes the people we love the most have to leave, but their love never does. "It stays right here," she said, placing her hand over her heart. That moment broke the ice that no one else could. The next day, Emily followed Maria around the house, asking about her daughter, about her home, about the song. Soon, Ethan got curious too. He didn't admit it, but he was listening from behind doors, watching from corners. Days turned into weeks, and the twins began to soften. When Ethan spilled milk one morning, Maria didn't scold him. She just handed him a towel and said, "Let's clean it together." He looked shocked. No one had ever asked him to help before. Slowly, the mansion that once echoed with shouting began to hum with laughter again. Richard, the father, barely noticed at first. He was always out before sunrise and back after midnight. But one evening, when he returned from a business trip, he found something unexpected. The twins were sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. Maria was helping them, smiling. As she prepared hot cocoa, he stood silently at the doorway, unable to speak. Later that night, Richard approached Maria. "I don't know what you're doing, but thank you," he said awkwardly. Maria smiled softly. They just needed someone to listen. But her kindness didn't stop their point. One weekend, she convinced Richard to stay home, just one full day, to bake cookies with the kids. He protested, saying he didn't know how. But she insisted, laughing. "Then today's the day to learn, Mr. Hale." That Sunday afternoon, the four of them stood in the kitchen, covered in flour, laughing as the twins tried to toss dough in the air. For the first time in years, the Hale family felt whole. It wasn't perfect. The twins still had their moods, their outbursts, their grief. But now, they had a safe place for their pain, a heart that didn't judge them. One evening, as Maria tucked Emily into bed, the little girl asked softly, "Are you going to leave too?" Maria smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Not unless you tell me to." Emily threw her arms around her neck. "Then never." Tears welled up in Maria's eyes. She hadn't realized how deeply she'd grown to love these children, or how much she needed them too, because Maria had her own story of loss. Years ago, she had lost her daughter to illness. Since then, she'd carried a quiet ache that never healed. Helping the twins brought a piece of her heart back to life. In healing them, she began to heal herself. Months passed, and everything changed. Ethan joined the school's baseball team. Emily started drawing again. Their father began leaving work early, attending games and art shows. The Hale mansion wasn't cold anymore. It was full of warmth, laughter, and music. Then one evening, Maria received a letter from her hometown. Her aging mother had fallen ill. She needed to return to Mexico to care for her. When she told the twins, they broke down crying. "Please don't go," Ethan begged. "We'll be good, I promise." Maria held their hands. "You already are good," she said, her voice trembling. "And you'll keep being good, for your father and for yourselves." Before she left, she gave them each a small gift, a simple heart-shaped stone with the words "Be kind" always etched on it. "When life feels heavy," she told them, "hold this. Remember that love doesn't end when someone leaves. It lives in how we treat others." A year later, Maria returned to visit. She found the twins waiting at the gate, grinning ear to ear. The mansion looked the same, but the people inside were completely different. Ethan ran up to her, holding out a small box. Inside was a bracelet made of tiny stone hearts, just like the one she had given them. "We made it for you," Emily said proudly. "To remind you that love came back here, because of you." Maria couldn't speak. She just hugged them tightly as tears streamed down her face. Richard stepped forward, eyes glistening. "You didn't just change my children," he said quietly. "You changed me." The camera of life zoomed out from that scene. A family, once broken, now whole again, because one woman refused to give up on kindness. Kindness doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it's in the soft words we speak to hurting hearts, in the patience we show when someone lashes out, or in the love we give without expecting anything in return. Maria didn't have money or power. What she had was compassion. It turned pain into peace, grief into growth, and strangers into family. The next time you meet someone difficult, remember this story. Maybe, just maybe, they don't need punishment, they need understanding. Because kindness, when given freely, can heal even the deepest wounds. That if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Whispers of Goodness. Your support helps us keep sharing real stories that prove one small act of kindness can change a life, or even a family. Until next time, stay kind and keep spreading goodness.